It was actually cool being in Norway for
Yeah.
like the Winter Olympics because Norway was crushing it.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we all ski. Like everybody skis like as soon as they're born.
Dang.
That is wild. You seem like a natural, though.
And then they were trying to be nice to us, and they're like, you guys like are learning. Like you're getting pretty good. And we're like, okay, sure.
That's
She
funny.
is a trooper. Okay, we're going to keep going through these pictures. Whoa. Okay. This is awesome. Who built that fire? Was it you?
Okay, so this was actually super funny. So we set up tents for the first 3 nights that we were in the field. And these tents they basically fit 8 people across. And
Okay.
we had like 8, 9, 10 people sleeping in them. So we were
What?
sleeping like next to each other.
Like sardines.
Yes, literally in these big puffy sleeping bags. And there was this one squad, and they were like, we're gonna dig like our area lower and like put the tent in it. And then they like did it. So they dug this big hole.
This
And
is a
then-
hole you're in?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like the snow was
Oh,
like
you're
this-
sitting on it. I
the
see.
Yeah, the snow was like 5 feet deep or something. And they like dug out this big hole, and they were gonna put their tent there. And then they like realized, they were like, that's not gonna work.
No.
So, but it actually worked out. We were like, this is gonna be our fire pit.
I
And then
love
we
it.
made like a big ledge that we could all sit on. So we're all like sitting on snow, and then the guys in the back are standing on snow.
At least you look
And-
pretty insulated.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Although
nice.
you blend in.
And
Yes.
then they actually had a competition of who could start the fire the fastest. Like we weren't able to use. You had to use like matches and stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, I could never do that, but my soldiers did it, so it was fun.
Wait, that's
Wild experiences
Mm-hmm.
in Norway. What was the most fun part of the trip for you?
I think just being there. I like
Yeah.
even like was telling people, I was like, we're skiing up this mountain, and like you're skiing and you're just going, and I was like, wow, like I am skiing in Norway. That's the craziest thing in the world. And you just see this amazing view, and I just kept like thinking that in my head. I was like, I can't get over this. Like I'm in Norway. I'm skiing up a mountain. Like the military gave me this incredible experience, which is super cool.
I really love your perspective on this too. I was joking during North Dakota today that like I would probably be complaining the whole time. Tell me just a little bit how important it is, especially within the military, when you are doing these grueling tasks and it's long days and like multiple days of things going on, of how you're able to like stay positive not only for yourself but for your soldiers.
I think that's a really great question and perspective that you brought up, because we had 3 platoons that went to NORAX, and I was the platoon leader for our white platoon. We had red, white, and blue. And every single night we would have these meetings with like our staff that was in charge of the platoons. And they were like, how are the platoons doing? Like, how's the morale? Like, how are things going? And I was like, honestly, like white platoon's like doing really well. We have a really great group. Like everyone's motivated. Everyone wants to be here. And some of the other platoon leaders were like, they're like, people are complaining. They're having a terrible time. They want to go back. They're like sick of this. They're over this. And I was like, what? I was like, what's happening over there? Like, why are, I was like, because as a leader, there's so much of like how you act is projected onto your soldiers. So like when I heard that, I was like, well, what are you guys doing wrong? Like maybe, you know, like, because it's going to be somewhere in the leadership progression line that like,
That makes sense.
if you're kind of having a hard time, or you're kind of sucking, or you're just kind of complaining, it's like catches like wildfire, and so many people catch on to that. But my platoon was great. Me and my platoon sergeant were just like so happy to be there. Me and my squad leaders were great too. Like everyone just was motivated, had a good time, and they just like took every day as like another opportunity, and that was super fortunate. One thing I did as a leader is I would create the plan for the next day and like create the timeline and what we're doing with the Norwegians, and then I would go and talk to my squads about what was going to happen the next day and what they had to be prepared for and to look forward to, and like what was going to be the hardships of the next day. And every single night I went into each tent, because each squad was a tent, and I said, what are your highs and lows of the day? And I made 3 people share. And the first day, they were like, what? Like, why would I do that? And, like, some people were like, I don't really want to. And then, like, it started catching on that by the end, like, they were like, here's my highs and lows.
Aww.
And, like, they were, like, so excited to share. And I think it just, like, brought people closer together because, like, they were able to be vulnerable and share that.
Yeah.
So it's like when things were hard, they were vulnerable about it and they got it off their chest right out of the way rather than, like, dwelling with it personally.
Yeah.
So I think, and then it also, like, made you realize that the worst part of your day wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
And, like, you got through it. And then your best part of the day was actually, like, so for some people it was a big thing, but for some people it was, like, the smallest thing made them, like, the happiest.
Yeah.
Like, so that was really cool. And I think that helped a lot with, like, bonding the group and bringing people together and just being vulnerable, being excited. Yeah. So I think that worked well.
Way fun.
Yeah.
That's so cute.
Super cheesy, but.
No, I love it. And I also think it's so fascinating. You're in this position, you're in charge of these people. You're a woman, which is already in the minority when we're talking about military positions. I mean, we had a segment about it today, actually, the event at MSUM, too. And also, you're younger than probably a lot of your squad, too, right?
Yeah. For this exercise, a lot of my soldiers are pretty young. Like,
Okay.
some of them weren't even 21 yet.
Oh,
So that
wow.
was kind of crazy. But normally, no, I'm, like, amongst the youngest.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that is so cool and so amazing. I mean, do you ever get nervous to give commands or be in charge of people like that?
Not anymore.
Uh-huh.
I used to, but I've kind of, like, as you get better and better and better
Right.
as you go, and you build confidence as you go. And I think, like, the number one thing is, like, just having confidence and, like, recognizing your role. And that's what's so great about the military is, like, your role is so clear. And, like, being an officer, people respect your rank automatically, which is nice, but they don't always respect you as a leader. But if you have that command presence and confidence and you know what you're talking about and you know what you're doing, then you will earn their respect. And
That makes sense.
that's worked for me as I've, like, gained experience in, like, becoming a better leader. And I had a really great group this time, and I got along with my squad leaders really well. And I got a lot of good feedback. Like, they were like,
Yay.
you did really well. Like, we were really happy to be in your platoon and, like, be a part of your group. And I was like,
Aw.
Cute.
yeah, it was
That's
awesome.
sweet,
Yeah.
because they probably didn't have to say that.
Yeah, yeah.
They probably weren't saying about the other ones that were complaining.
You don't know that.
I don't know. That's
She's
just-
throwing shade towards red and blue troops over here.
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Funny.
I love learning about the glamorous and not so glamorous side of this too, because of course with the pictures and everything, you think everything goes
Yeah.
so well too, but there's so much more going on beneath
Yeah,
the
for
surface.
sure.
Was there ever a moment that was going wrong during training and you had to pivot?
I was talking about this a little bit. So in the second part of the training, the group got, so we did the 5-day field exercise at the beginning. And then the second part of the training, we got split up. So about
Okay.
1/3 of the people got to go on the buddy weekend, which they got to stay with a Norwegian family.
So
is-
cool.
Yeah, so cool. The other 2/3 of us did an enhanced tactical training.
Ooh.
So we actually trained with, like, a Norwegian infantry unit, and we did trench warfare. So this was actually really cool because, well, it was cool for me. Because
When I
I'm,
hear
like,
trench warfare,
yeah,
I'm
Thinking
like,
World War I.
are we
Something's
dodging
going
things?
on.
What's going on here? Yeah.
Yeah. So, basically, we just, like, learned how to, like, tactically move through a trench. For the
Oh.
first, well, we learned how to use the Norwegian weapon system for the first time.
Okay.
And then we had to learn how to, like, tactically move through a trench and, like, how to clear it and, like, push enemy outward. And then the next 2 days we did a mission. So 2/3 of us got to do this, like, enhanced tactical trench warfare training, while 1/3 of us got to go on the buddy weekend. And some people were kind of mad about that.
I wouldn't say that's a fair
would
trade-off.
be
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
mad.
Yeah.
I would literally throw a fit. I would, like, kick
Yeah.
a snowbank.
Yeah, some people are pretty mad about that, but like me being an infantry officer and like going to do infantry stuff in Norway, I was so excited about that.
Yeah.
So, and I think that my squad leaders are involved with like combat arms too, so I think they were excited too. So I think we kind of dialed down that people were. I think we got people excited to do like the trench warfare training rather than like not getting to do the buddy weekend thing, which it did suck. Like everybody wanted to go stay with a Norwegian family, but we just recognized that they didn't have enough families for us all to go with, so we had to do the enhanced training, and the enhanced training like turned out to be super cool. So.
I think it's fascinating too what exhilarates people in different career fields. Like, you know, surgeons, they get excited when there's like a trauma, horrible gunshot wounds going on type of thing. They get excited. Firefighters, they want like a massive fire explosion. I mean, obviously don't want that, but that's what gets them going. Their heart's pumping. For you, trench warfare, naturally.
So they actually, to talk a little bit more about that training, we got to train with a Norwegian infantry unit, and they train Ukrainians.
Okay.
So they've trained so many Ukrainians, like they'll get brand new Ukrainian soldiers, teach them like tactics and warfare, and then the Ukrainians go and fight the war.
Wow.
So
That's
it's like,
insane.
yeah. So it was really cool to dial into. Like, trench warfare is something that we're not always training here, but it's like what's happening in modern warfare, and that was cool that we had that direct correlation with like the Ukraine and Russia war, as well as like working with Norway and how they train that to those soldiers, and then we got the exact same training, so that was super cool. Just like doing something that was modern and like, because we've trained on like the battle drills that we trained in for years, but this was like, wow, like this is what troops are doing today. So that was super cool.
Oh my
and
goodness.
Yeah,
that's nuts.
And then we got to do a real mission with that Norwegian unit as offense, going into the trench and clearing it. And then the next day I was put as defense, and then I was in the trench trying to secure it and keep the enemy out. And
war scrimmages.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm learning so much in this little casual debrief segment.
That's
Do you have
funny.
any more pressing questions for Morgan before we wrap up everything?
Do you think, like, with all your military training, that you could, like, fight and kill me in, like, hand-to-hand combat?
Oh.
Hand-to-hand combat is very different. We do train on that. That's combative.
Do you think, like, you could kill me?
It's kind of like
with your bare hands?
I
kind of feel like you could.
Such an interesting question.
It is
feel
an
like you
interesting
could.
question. I didn't know what was coming out of her mouth just then.
Yeah.
I for sure feel like you could. That's kind of cool.
She's not
That's
going
like
to
a
want
cool
to,
thing to, like,
regardless.
carry around, just in, like, your back pocket.
Self-defense skills,
Yeah,
I'm
it
sure,
is,
are
like-
much more
Yeah,
elevated than
it
ours.
is like kind
Yeah.
of self-defense skills. Like I don't know how much jujitsu they have in Fargo, but like jujitsu, like you can like hold submission on someone and like choke them out.
You could totally do that to me. I'm, like, not that strong.
Well, we'll bring a jujitsu instructor on the show.
That could
Put
be
your
fun.
skills to the test.
That would be good.
Learn something new.
I don't think we're
That'd
gonna,
be less scary
we're
than
not
the
gonna
owl.
Maybe
practice
Morgan
that.
can come back and teach us, actually.
It's been a long
Morgan
time.
could
Some
put me in a
trench
headlock
warfare.
in, like, 8
Yeah.
seconds.
Oh.
Probably.
Okay, this was so fun having a guest on the Hot Mics for the first time, too.
Yeah.
I love that we just get to chat casually and ask whatever's on our mind, even if it's, can you kill me with your bare hands?
I need
thank
to
you.
know. Like, you're my best friend. Like,
That is crazy.
Should you be sleeping with one eye
next time
open?
we get in an argument or something, I'll be like, maybe I'll watch my mouth a little bit.
Honestly, I think that when you get into a situation where you have to perform, like there's like a sense of adrenaline and stamina that's always gonna come in. It's like more.
Like, if we're, like, arguing over a shirt
you
or
probably
something,
win.
you're probably like, okay, well, maybe we won't test it out. But
No.
At least not while we're live on everything
No.
right now. Of course, you'll get a debrief. But anything else, ladies, before we close out our stream?
There's more pictures on your guys' Facebook page, right? If people want to like scroll through.
That's a good point.
There's
Yeah.
actually a Minnesota National Guard Facebook page, and it highlights some of the photos of the United States soldiers while we were in Norway. And then it's an exchange
cool.
program, so there was Norwegian soldiers that came to Minnesota and trained up at Camp Ripley. Yeah.
We
Fun.
could have been their buddies.
Could've.
Did they do a buddy exchange too, or was that just?
No,
Oh,
they didn't.
All
no.
right. Never mind. Well, I think this was a blast. How can people keep following your journey, though? Do you have social media?
I do. I don't post a lot about the military on my social media, but there's
Once
a
in a
couple.
while.
Yeah, a couple snippets. I'm actually going to Denmark in June with the military.
Oh
so-
my
Yay.
goodness. That is
The
my
world
favorite
traveler.
country. Yes. Well, best of luck to you. We're going to have to have you
you.
back for a Denmark debrief after, too.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
Yay! Well, thank you guys for tuning in to our third official episode of Hot Mics with Tatum and Sophia. We will see you next Wednesday at 10:30, and of course tomorrow on the NDT couch at 9 a.m. Bye, guys.
Bye.